Hey everybody, it's Jim from Cigars. And it's that time of year again when everybody's coming out with their top 10 or top 25 or top whatever list of things for the year. So I got to jump in on that, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. I reviewed about 50 cigars this year, and most of them were really good. And a few of them were really bad. And one of them in particular wasn't good or bad, it was just really ugly. So I've decided to call my year in review for 2023 the good, the bad, and the ugly. So as we get started with this list, a couple things to keep in mind. First of all, the universe of cigars that I am rating here come from the 50 cigars that I reviewed, not all the million cigars that are available. Secondly, I excluded cigars like the Padron Family Reserve, Opus X, Oliva Milanio, because those show up on every best of list every year, so those have been talked about enough. So why don't we get started? But before we do that, one thing I want to wrap up the year with is to say thank you very much. The channel has done really well this year, and it's thanks to viewers like you who have watched and subscribed. I hope I'm giving you what you want, and let's keep this thing going. Let's get started with the good cigars. 4 cigars really stood out to me as the most noteworthy of the ones that I reviewed this year. Let's start with an AJ Fernandez New World Dorado. A unique cigar for AJ Fernandez, medium full, not an AJ Fernandez powerhouse like we're kind of used to. Kind of sweet spices and very well balanced cigar. I really like that one. Second is the Drew Estate Undercrown 10th anniversary. And I actually got 3 of these as a promotion, and I really wasn't expecting much out of them because, to be honest, I never really thought the Undercrown Maduro was that great of a cigar. This came across to me as a totally different cigar. From the presentation of the band, the construction of it, the draw, the smoke production, the taste. Man, everything about that cigar was excellent. I smoked those 3 promotional cigars and bought a few more because I really, really liked them. The third one on my list is the Plasencia Almafuerte. I've kind of nibbled at the edges of the Plasencia line, never really embraced it, but when I got the Almafuerte, man, it was a good cigar, and as I mentioned in the review, it actually gives the Padron 1926 a run for its money. Last but not least of the 4 is the Monte Cristo 1935 Anniversary Nicaragua. That is actually my favorite cigar, not only that I reviewed this year, but that I smoked this year. Wonderful taste, wonderful construction, really an amazing, noteworthy cigar. And it gets a bad rap because it's a New World Monte Cristo, and they don't have a particularly great reputation, but they've really come out with some good cigars in the last, 5 or 6 years. And the 1935 anniversary is really kind of the pinnacle of that. I also have a bunch of cigars I reviewed this year that I'd give an honorable mention to. Those include the Umbagog by Dunbarton, Olmec by Foundation, My Father Le Bijou, and I actually have some that I review on my website. When I decide if I'm going to review a cigar, I decide if I'm going to do it on video or in writing. The video ones you're familiar with on YouTube, but at my website, www.cigarscigars.com, I have a bunch of written reviews too. Ones that I did this year as written reviews were really cigars that surprised me. I didn't think they'd be worthy of a YouTube review, but I thought I'll smoke it and see what happens, and they surprised me. So here's the ones that did that. Southern Draw Firethorn. That's a rosado, very nice flavor, excellent construction. It was really a nice cigar. Alec Bradley Kintsugi. What a weird name. They're killing themselves with that name. But if you like medium body cigars, man, that one is right down the middle. It is a quintessential medium body cigar. I really like that one as well. And last is the La Aroma de Cuba Edición Especial. And I didn't expect much out of this cigar at all. It was a rainy day. I decided to smoke a cigar in my garage, and I found it. I'd gotten a sampler pack of all the La Aroma de Cuba cigars, and I believe this was one of the last ones, if not the last one left. And I lit it up, and I was amazed by the taste of it. And the draw, construction, man, it was a really good cigar. If you are a fan of the E.P. Carrillo Allegiance, give the La Aroma de Cuba Edición Especial a try. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised and compare it very favorably to the Allegiance. Okay, so that's the good. Now we got to talk about the bad. Fortunately, there really only are a few cigars that fell into this category for the ones I reviewed. Two of these were very highly rated, the Rocky Patel 6060 and the Davidoff Nicaragua Diadema. And both of them disappointed me. I'm not going to say they're terrible, awful cigars, but they're pretty high priced and created some high expectations, and they didn't fulfill those expectations. Given that, here's a picture of Rocky Patel and me during our happier days. And now here's a picture of my front door the day after I posted that review on YouTube of the 6060. You make the judgment on this one. I have one more bad experience to talk about, and this isn't one particular cigar, it's actually a line of cigars. If you recall, I did a box opening for Dakine, which is a line of cigars that are unique because they feature at least some Hawaiian tobacco. And they actually have a line of, I think, 9 different cigars that all feature different wrappers and so forth. But the common element was the Hawaiian tobacco. And I went ahead and bought a sampler box, did a box opening, and I got to be honest with you, not a single one of those cigars got past the halfway point. And most of them didn't get past an inch or so. They were terribly dry, they arrived dry, they were poorly made, the draw was tight. The taste, when I could get that far, was okay, but you couldn't even smoke them. So I got to give the Dakine cigars my Stinker of the Year award.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Well, now we got the good and the bad. Now we're going to talk about the ugly. And like I said at the beginning, this is not a bad cigar. It's not a great cigar, but it is without a doubt the ugliest cigar I've ever seen. The New World Monte Cristo, I think they call it the Monte Cristo Original. It has a band very similar to the Cuban version, except where it's supposed to say Havana, it just has squiggles. That's how you can tell that one. But this is the number 2 Vitola that I'm talking about. And as you're probably aware, the Cuban Monte Cristo number 2 Vitola is one of the classic cigars in the world. The New World of Monte Cristo is like this weird caricature of that cigar. One of the things it kind of looks like is one of those miniature ball bats that your kid makes you buy when you take him to a baseball game. Very, very weird shaped. And secondly, it's rolled, to put it kindly, in a very rustic fashion. I'm showing some pictures here of cracking and poor seams and how it looks and stuff like that. So it is a bad looking cigar. It would lose every beauty contest for sure. I gotta tell you, it isn't that bad of a cigar. It's a Connecticut, but not a Connecticut shade, so sort of a medium body. So overall, I would give that cigar, I don't know, a 7 out of 10. It's a decent cigar. One thing I would caution, if I piqued your interest in this cigar, when you go to buy it, one of the outrageous things about it is the price. I think a box of 24 of these goes for something like $511, manufacturer's suggested retail. Do not pay that much for it. When I get the hankering for these, I pick them up on Cigar Page or somewhere like that and get my fill of them that way. Do not go out and buy a box of these or go to your cigar shop and pay 21 bucks or whatever they are for one. They are not worth it. All right, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And one thing I will add in at the end here is thank you again for watching all these videos. I get to talk like an idiot and review cigars and do all the stuff I like to do, and I appreciate you watching.